Put a price on your life. Better yet, put a price on your children's life. I mean, when it comes to life, right? The only thing that you can be certain is the unpredictability of life. I mean, you think about it, everything you plan for, everything you've ever saved and invested in, right, can disappear in a moment's notice when something unthinkable happens, right? Now, the very least that any of us can do is to keep an umbrella handy. Now, what's that umbrella? Is this thing called insurance lah. So today we're going to talk about insurance a little bit and also talk about investments and unit trusts. So we've got my buddy over here, Aaron, who'll be talking and bringing us through the life of insurance and unit trust. So Aaron, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Hi, thanks for having me here today.
Hey, most welcome. I mean, Aaron, we've known each other for the better part of 15 years lah, right?
At least.
At least, you know, you've brought me through understanding what insurance is all about, but more importantly, you've brought me to the realization of the importance of investing at a young age to ensure that when I retire, I don't need to worry so much lah. So for that, Thank you, buddy. Right?
Most welcome.
And hopefully today we get to educate the people a little bit on the importance of insurance, but also the importance of investing, especially at a young age. Yeah. So guys, welcome to the Find the Real podcast, where I believe everyone has a story. It doesn't matter what your background is, what your career is. I believe everyone has an interesting story. And my role is to curate those interesting stories for your entertainment. And hopefully you guys get inspired to do better in your life. So Aaron, your role today is to inspire me lah, and inspire the guys out there. Alright?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, so Aaron, you've been doing insurance for donkey years lah. But before we go to the world of insurance and investing, why don't you tell me a little bit about your background and how you grew up?
Okay. Well, I was born in PJ.
Sir, PJ.
Very close to you, actually.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, yeah. So I grew up in PJ my whole life, and then I went to primary school in Kelana Jaya.
Okay.
Nothing spectacular there, and then. My father, when going into secondary school, my dad wanted me to go to Bukit Bintang because it's like the better school.
Hey man, I was a product of Bukit Bintang Boys School, best school in the country, man.
And I found out, it's like, oh, Papa, it's all boys. Yes, like they said, yeah, but it's a good school. But I said, okay, I'll follow my friends then. Where's that? Seaport. Not knowing Seaport, it's a very gangster school.
A little bit like
naughty school.
So even at that point in time, it was a little bit gangster-ish, because when I was growing up, it was also a little bit of a tough school as well.
Nowadays, I don't think so. But back in the
80s,
late 80s, early 90s, it was a very naughty school.
Okay.
I've not seen or been involved in a fight before, but I've heard a lot of stories. That's because after school I jump into the bus and get home. So.
Oh, you are one of those good boys lah. Make sure you go home, study and all lah.
After hearing these stories, you don't want to be in the middle.
So growing up in Kelana Jaya, going to Seaport, Kelana Jaya School, any interesting memories that you grew up with? Anything you can share?
Not particularly. My life was pretty boring because since standard 3, I was trying to take up tennis very seriously.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So basically, I've never gone to any tea dance, disco. Not until I was in college.
All right.
So weekends was Saturday and Sundays was tennis for me, training.
So in your era of tennis, this was pre-Sampras, pre-Agassi, or during that era?
It's that era.
Okay.
Yeah, man. That's when their peak. Yeah.
Yes.
Boris Becker's time.
Oh,
yeah.
So that time the breaking the racket already lah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, tennis. And here's the thing about tennis, right? To all of you people who think it's an easy sport, you all think, I can play badminton means I can play tennis, bro. No.
Okay. The best thing is to get coaching. Yeah, it's not something you pick up and just like swatting a fly. It doesn't work.
Yeah, so
there are techniques.
So I actually tried. I'm not kidding. Maybe about 7-8 years ago, I had that exact same mindset. Tennis only. I know how to smash. What's so hard? The moment I mishit, right, and I hit the ball on the frame of the racket, the vibration, I think, went all the way to my head, bro. For 3 days, I got headache.
Not funny. Yeah, that's right.
So the advice is, if you want to pick up tennis, make sure you got a coach.
Yeah, exactly.
So here you are, going from drawing, a draftsman per se,
Yeah.
and then going from medical sales, pharmaceutical sales. So how did you suddenly tumble into the world of insurance and investments?
Yeah, when I was in pharmaceutical sales,
Mm.
I bumped into an old friend,
Okay.
which we met when we went to the same tuition center.
Okay. Oh,
So
old friend lah, this one.
yeah, he's your senior, so you may know him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was doing insurance and doing pretty well.
Okay.
So, and then he just shared with me some ideas, and I thought, yeah, why don't I give it a try? So yeah, I did it part time first,
Mm.
and then after 6 months, I decided let's do this full time.
Okay.
Yeah, because timing was good then, because the company I am with,
Mm.
was one of the pioneers in investment link
Okay.
insurance.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was very flexible, much more affordable, and timing was basically good lah.
Okay.
Yeah, and going around educating people about getting protection
Mm.
was fairly easy, because I was like 20 plus then, so
Mm.
yeah, most of my friends are like, they haven't even had or have insurance yet, or some don't even know anything about insurance, so it was a great time lah.
Okay,
See
so
people, yeah.
so this was a bit of your early journey. You
Yeah,
got
that's right.
into it to a friend, right? And you found that you were mentioning something about what you said, insurance invest link or
Investment
something?
link.
Okay, well, so what's an investment link?
Okay, basically there are two types: whole life and investment link.
Okay.
Okay, we're getting technical here.
Okay.
Or it is just the basics.
Just the basics is enough.
So before year 2000, 20 years ago,
Okay.
insurance is basically like whole life,
Okay.
where you pay your premiums, you get your coverage, and then you get to choose the term.
Okay.
But typically it matures at age 100 lah.
Okay.
Okay, and then the bonuses you come from, the bonuses you get is from participating in the company's profits.
Okay.
Yeah, whereas investment link,
Mm.
which came out after the year 2000 onwards, if I'm not wrong, the investments are separate.
Okay.
Yeah, that means you have funds to choose from, like equity funds,
Yes.
mixed assets, and all that.
So a certain portion of the monthly subscription goes to an investment portfolio, and a certain portion goes to
protection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So when premiums are paid, certain portion goes to your protection and investment, and then certain portion goes to the agent's commission lah.
Okay.
Yeah, they call it allocated premium.
So
and
in the
unallocated.
world before the year 2000, there wasn't an investment portion of it.
Nope.
I'm just taking care of my life. So in this example where it normally matures till the age of 100,
Yeah.
if let's say something happens when you're 80, right? Your family, if it happens when you're 80, then you get whatever that payout is, for
Yes.
example.
Yes.
But if you live past 100, if you're at 101,
Okay, at age 100, when I say the plan matures at 100,
Yes.
So if you happen to live past 100, okay,
you get a cash value.
yes, at age 100, they pay you the whole cash value plus the sum assured.
Okay, whereas now the difference with this is at any point in time, you can get a cash value because a portion of the money is being invested, right?
Yes. Back
okay.
in the days, whole life plans, if you want to make a partial withdrawal, right, it's like a loan. You have to put it back.
Oh.
The newer plans like investment link, you can make partial withdrawals, but you don't necessarily have to pay it back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. So you started after 6 months of doing this part time. You decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this full time, right? So how was the reaction of your family, your friends who were like, hey,
That's a good question.
This fella started doing insurance.
Yeah.
How did they react, buddy?
Yeah. They were quite cool. They were
Okay.
quite cool. I think knowing my personality, my friends said, okay lah, this guy will probably stick around. But then that's when you really know your true friends, you see.
Yeah.
Because when you start doing insurance, right, your true friends will stick around, and the rest will just like
This fella
avoid you
only
like a fly.
call me when he wants to sell me products. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So, but there are people that really wants to know that you are in the business for real. So, and you know, like when you buy from me like 3 years later, 4 years down the road.
After
5 years down the road.
after seeing that you're in it for the long haul.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's right.
Okay.
And talking about how did I break the message to my parents? Right?
This one important.
They only knew I was in insurance 1 year later.
Ayo.
I couldn't bring myself to break it to them, like, you know, after like pay for my education, and then I'm going into this, and you know, most parents, they are like old school, very conventional.
Yeah.
So
How did they take it?
when you go into something that is uncertain,
That's the word.
yeah, then they start to worry and all that. But I mean, I was doing okay. I was progressing well. So well, then my parents said, yeah, why not just focus and make the best out of it.
Yeah, so I mean, again, to parents out there, right? I think the idea here is, yes, it might be something unconventional or, you know, different, but if they are showing the interest, and more importantly, if the interest is sustainable and is bringing some income in, right?
Yeah.
And they are happy and they are good doing what they're doing, ideally support them. So at that point in time, your parents were supportive of what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, as long as it's not illegal. You know,
That one we must add lah.
But you know what? Selling insurance is like, it's a very noble job, you know.
Yeah, it is, dude.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm not a sick person, but my greatest joy is when I can make a claim for somebody. Then they see the importance of it.
Okay, so we started this podcast by talking about those fears, right? You know,
Yeah.
do you have a price on your life, on your kid's life, right?
Yeah.
What if something untowards happens? So I'm sure you've got a ton of stories. If you could just share one story where, you know, a beautiful story about how insurance has actually really saved someone's life or helped them, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I've got tons of stories.
Of course.
But
What's the most one you remember?
I'll share a classic one. This guy, he does his own business. And I think when he was about early 50s, he had a heart attack. He had a heart attack. And then, you know, we went through the bills, the claims and all that. And it went through. Everything was very smooth. But this guy is he's a Punjabi guy. And I was told they're all very proud people. So he never really said thanks and all that. But one day I visited him, and then he was in the garden, and then the wife was talking to me, and then she said, "Oh, Aaron, you know, the claim that came through made such a big difference." You know, I said, "Oh, what did he do for you all?" He said, "Oh, because when he had the heart attack, one of his daughters was in the middle of university in UK. UK. So she told me, if that claim didn't come through and he cannot work because, you know, after a heart attack you need to take a break like 6 months,
of course,
3 months. There wouldn't be much income. So that money helped to pay her tuition fees and completed her degree. So she said she was so thankful because if that money didn't come in, they might have to pull a plug. She had to come back, and God knows what will happen. So it was a very beautiful story, and it inspired me, you know, that yes, everybody should be insured. Not just insured, but sufficiently insured.
Yeah.
You know, of course there are ways to calculate. Most people, 9 out of 10 people we know, I mean, especially if you're in a city, we know they're insured.
Yes.
But are they insured sufficiently?
Yes.
You see, because some people only when things happen and then they get admitted or critical illness occurs, and then when the claim comes in, it's like, oh, that's all. Why so little? Then it's a very common thing. Yeah. So, like you said, it's not like umbrella. It's more like a parachute. You know, you either have it or you don't. If you have it, make sure it works properly.
No, and that's the thing. I think the fact that, I mean, we've been having a relationship for the past 15 years, and you know, I mean, you're not my insurance agent, you're my friend, dude. You know, and that's the thing. It's about the conversations that we have, like every quarter, you know, every few months or so, we go have lunch, and we have conversations, we review, and that's the idea. As and when you can review, because again, you never know. As you grow older in life, you know, you start getting married, you start having kids, responsibilities change. So it's always good to have a little bit of a review.
Yeah, that's right. Because
Yeah, so we spoke about inspirational stories, like that client of yours who managed to get his payout and managed to continue paying for his daughter's education, right?
Yeah.
But let's talk about the challenges lah. Yo, I tell you, the challenges of insurance.
Yeah.
Okay, I think for me, from the outside looking in, I think the biggest challenge would be either generating leads and getting rejection. That's what I think. How about you? What do you think are the biggest challenges in the industry?
Okay, rejections are definitely there.
Okay.
You are doing a sale. Anybody who's done sales in selling anything for the matter, there will be rejection. So, I mean, I'm confident of my product. I know I'm doing something noble. I'm not destroying somebody's life. And if they say no, then I just take it as they are not saying no to me. They're just saying no to the product or to the timing or to themselves. And then move on, next person.
So it's if you can't get through, let's just move on.
No hard feelings, because end of the day I feel like I'm not selling anymore. I'm just like educating somebody that look, your life, you may have a family, may not, you have kids, and touch wood, due to unforeseen circumstances or events, where is the money coming from? Very important. And insurance is one of the easiest ways to replace that income or lost income. I mean, have you tried borrowing money before?
Only when I bought my house and my car, bro. That's about it.
Borrow from friends.
I'm normally the one giving my friends. A few of you know who you are. You owe me money, please pay back. Okay.
So you see, even borrowing money from 1 or 2% is difficult. Imagine if you are slapped with a 5-figure, 6-figure bill. It's not funny. So some people would say, will tell me, oh, it's not necessary. We have a government hospital. It's okay. I understand. It's next to free. Okay, that is if it's an elective surgery. All right. What if it's an emergency? You get knocked down by a car. You're bleeding out. You think you have a choice which hospital to go? What if UH is or GHKL is like 1 hour away? You need to go to the nearest hospital, right? Okay, no choice. And then do you think it's cheap if you go enter a private hospital? They probably won't even take you in if you don't have a 10 grand deposit or 5 grand deposit.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, so yes, insurance is not some say a necessity, but it gives you options.
Yeah.
You see, you still can go to government hospital if you want to. But if let's say you cannot seek immediate medical treatment, you have the option to go to private. Whereas if you don't have insurance, your option is only one.
Yeah.
And that's the government.
So at least it gives you an option. It gives you that parachute in case anything happens.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we were speaking about the fact that rejection is there, and you were mentioning, you know what, if I get rejection, move on. Because what I like is the fact that you're not selling a product, you're selling something noble. It's a noble job. It's not like, I mean, I used to sell tobacco, not so noble. This one is very noble, right? Yes. So then now we're talking about how do you find or prospect new potential customers or clients?
Yeah.
What's your process? What's your workflow like?
Basically, okay, I've never done a cold call in my whole life.
Say what?
Yeah. So, I mean, different agents operate differently.
Okay.
So, some like cold calls, some are very comfortable with it. I've met them, I've seen them, but I operate differently. I was trained to, go through referrals. You close a case, and then you build a relationship with the customer, and then you get referrals from there. So I mean, the initial market, of course, is the warm market, like your friends, ex-colleagues.
Like what you mentioned, you were 20, you had a lot of friends who did not have insurance. So basically, it's just word of mouth within friends of friends of friends of friends.
Exactly.
Because similar, I mean, how I knew this guy is also a friend of a friend.
Yes.
Yeah, it's if I'm not mistaken, it's my good buddy Prabhu's brother Sridhar. If I'm not mistaken, you were doing insurance for him, and then we got connected 15 years ago, and and the same thing. I think I've had a few of my family members and a few of my friends that I've introduced to you.
Exactly.
And it continues.
Yeah. So it's I mean, for any marketing or sale, I think word of mouth is the most powerful because you are sharing with from your own experience.
Yeah. At one point in my career, I was the head of activation for BAT, and we did peer-to-peer sales as well. I mean, I won't go into details because it might be a little bit against the law, but yes, word of mouth is the best way, most cost-effective way as well to generate trials, because you're getting it from someone that you trust.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah, that works, man. And what I like is the fact that, I mean, the way you handle rejection. You know, if it doesn't pan out, just move on.
Yeah.
And so you leverage on this network of your existing clients to build in new clients.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
So, this is interesting for me because one thing that you have the skill is how you build relationships with people. Because again, right, I don't see you as an agent, I see you as a friend, you know. And I'm sure I'm not your only friend. I'm sure if I go through your phone, more than 80% of your clients are your friends, yo.
Yeah. I mean, it's just not product. End of the day, you want to know the person better, and you know their family. I mean, that's another way also to build your sales in a way. Yeah. Because when people trust you, people can depend on you. Most important. Actually, reflecting on this subject, right? There was one point in my life, right? Some of my customers take me as like customer service, you know. They think I know everything. Hey, I didn't get this done to my car. Where do I go? And then that's how I ask. It's like they think I know everything, you know, which of course I try to be as helpful as I can lah. Yeah. Before Google came about, then okay, wonderful.
I don't need Google, I need Aaron. Hey, Aaron. Hey, where to eat lunch? Hey, I know this place.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, it's good. You feel good. People think you know a lot, but yeah, I try to help them out.
So that's your approach on how you build your long-lasting relationships. It's about being there. It's about trying to drive more of a friendship relationship versus an agent-client relationship. Is that what you do?
Yeah. I mean, if I don't do that, then I'm no different than somebody selling you a handphone. You know, sell a product and that's
transactional.
it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. Again, why we have this relationship is the fact that, again, every quarter we'll just have lunch, or even not quarter, as and when I'll just get a message, Joe, I'm near your house, let's go for drinks, you know, back in the Shah Alam days, right? So and I think that fosters a healthy relationship. And it's not like every time we sit down we talk about insurance. No, we'll end up talking about education system, politics, you know?
I mean, interesting stuff lah.
So that's how it went, right? So here you are, you know, we've talked a little bit about the insurance journey, right? We talked about the challenges. We talked about that wonderful story about your client who managed to pay for his daughter's education. We talked about how you handled rejection. We talked about how you prospect new clients. Now let's put insurance aside lah. Now let's talk about something a little bit more interesting. Now, insurance, as we know, is a parachute, right? It's an umbrella. It gives you options. Investment, on the other hand, is a little bit different. So what I understand is you also do something called unit trust investments.
Yes.
All right. So could you tell me a little bit about what is unit trust, you know, and how did you get into that industry?
Okay. It was a natural progression because the insurance company I'm with, their sister company is also a unit trust company.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was natural for us to get the license and pick it up. But of course, initially when I took it up, it was just like extra income lah. You know, I mean, investing. I didn't know much then.
Okay.
But so naturally, my close customers would support and invest. But as I grew along, I found it more and more interesting because, like, if you look at the world's richest people, off your head, who? Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Elon Musk.
Yep.
Warren Buffett. Are they cash rich?
No.
They're not. So, like they said, Elon Musk is worth what, 85, 90 billion. It's not in cash. It's in stock holdings. So I'm thinking, how do these people get there?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Elon Musk different lah. Okay, owner of Tesla, he owns the shares. But people like Warren Buffett, okay, he's I think 90 plus now, close to 100. He's one of the world's richest investors.
Yes.
And he bought his first share, if I'm not wrong, when he was 13 years old. And you were getting to know Transformers.
Yeah, that's true.
Toys.
And this fella buying shares already.
yeah, he just had the knack for doing business and making money, So, and over time, his investments grew. He bought businesses, he built businesses, and now he's worth equally as much. Like 90 billion US. Mind you, it's not RM.
With the exchange rate now, I tell you.
yeah. So it's interesting because no matter how hard you work, you'll never make this kind of money. You know that. I know that.
Yes.
And one of the ways is either you do business or you invest. So then that got me interested in how these people made this money. Yeah. And then, of course, off and on, you come across news about retirement and how a lot of people cannot retire comfortably because of finances. So then I realized, retirement is not something like buying a car or buying a house. If you didn't plan for it, right? Do you think a house or a car will ever end up in your name? No, right? But if you talk about retirement, whether you plan or you don't plan for it, that day will come.
Yes.
Provided you plonk before 55 lah. Okay, but unlikely lah for most people. And then that hit me. If I can do something about it and help people realize that, hey, if you want to retire, you gotta have money, man.
Yep.
Because, the world we are in today, right? After COVID, then the Russian war, Ukraine war didn't help. It created very high inflation, especially for food. And everybody feels it. Unless you're super rich, then you probably think like, makes no difference. But for the average person, you do feel it, Your tea used to cost like $2.50, suddenly it's like $3 and no change, and you're like, hey, what's happening?
Yeah.
Your groceries, in January, $200 gets you this much.
No, it's a
and then
fraction
6
of
months down the road, you buy the same thing, but it costs more than $300 now. So, what's happening? That's inflation taking place.
Yes.
Now, if that happens in 6 months and you can feel the pain, imagine 6 years down the road, 16 years down the road, and when you retire, your $200 is not the same value today.
Yep.
So that is why investment is so important. When you invest, you want your money to grow. Why you want your money to grow? So that it can be what you call current, grows together with the inflation.
Correct.
So it has to be either getting returns the same as inflation or higher.
Ideally, you want it higher.
Ideally, you want it higher.
Yeah. But at minimum, it's so that you can address inflation, right?
Yeah.
Like what you said, your $200 today will not be worth $200 tomorrow, right? It's the same.
Exactly.
I just had lunch today. We had chicken rice, right?
Yeah.
Normal chicken rice, nothing else, 8 ringgit, right? Back in the day, it was like 5 ringgit, and even 5 ringgit is on the upper end. So things are getting expensive.
Exactly.
So we understand that, right? It's about making your money work for you. It's about getting better value moving forward with the way the prices of things are and with the potential inflation happening in the future.
Yeah.
So you understand this importance, right? Then you decided to do the whole investment bit.
Yeah, that's right.
So what is unit trust exactly?
Okay, basically unit trust is money that is managed by professionals.
Okay.
So for example, right, if let's say I've got 1,000 ringgit, I want to buy a stock. I want to start investing, but I don't know much about stock. So Malaysia has got about 1,000 listed companies.
Okay.
And of course, I'll pick companies that I'm familiar with, right? So if let's say Nestle, everybody knows Nestle, right? Everybody drinks Milo, everybody eats Maggi Mee. Okay, let's say I got 1,000 ringgit. Let's invest. But Nestle, a cost of a share is about 150 ringgit. But in Malaysia, you have to buy by lots.
Yep.
And one lot is 100 shares. So that is 15,000. One lot. But if I got 1,000, so I cannot do anything. Okay. But if let's say I have 1,000 friends and each got 1,000,
Ah.
okay, collectively I've got 1 million. Okay, so this 1 million, now the fund managers, okay, managed by professionals, not only can buy your favorite stock, okay, they can buy their competitor. They can buy different sectors. They can buy different industries. And what that gives you? Diversification. Okay, so your risk is spread out. It's not just in a certain sector or industry. Yeah. So in the long run, diversification will give you like a little safety net.
Yeah,
So it's not so volatile.
Yeah, it's for the long game, right?
Yes.
It's,
And of
it's
course,
for long-term investments.
Yeah, and of course, funds are picked by professionals from their own experience, and they have calculations for it, lah. It's not spin the wheel and this is a good company. It doesn't work that way. It's a lot more technical.
Okay, so very clear, right? Right. I like that explanation. It's like you are taking a portion of your money, and instead of you buying that stock yourself, there's a whole bunch of other people putting that money through a fund manager, and a fund manager manages
Yes.
the investments of those group of people.
Yes.
So you are a fund manager in that sense.
I'm not a fund manager. I'm an agent. So
Okay, you're an
I
agent?
recommend the funds and assess the suitability of the investor and make proper recommendations.
Okay, so what's the difference? So what you're doing, you're an agent, you're trying to find people to help to invest that money through unit trust, and a fund manager manages that fund.
Yes.
But your role in between is to propose those funds
Yes.
to your prospective clients.
Yes.
So bring us through a little bit of the process, like how did you know what funds to choose, right? And how do you know what is the best thing to suit with the right appetite of your clients?
Okay, that's a very good question because end of the day, people want to make their money grow. Okay, and then they know they need to invest, but they don't know why.
Sounds like me lah.
Yeah, I need to save money because my mother said so, my father said so.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But the real reason is everybody needs to invest to beat inflation.
Yes.
Because when you when you can get good returns better than inflation or at par with inflation, you are keeping your money relevant now to the future. Because your 100 ringgit now today cannot buy the same thing 1 year down the road,
Agreed.
or worse 10 years down the road. Yeah, so that's why we need to invest. So my goal is to make sure that they realize that inflation is a real killer to our money.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and their future will look better if they take action today. Because, I mean, if in the past it'll be nice because everything is cheaper and we cannot predict the future.
But it's
So-
better to start at one point in your life, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've made this realization with your clients. Okay, I realize that I need to make my money work at least on par with inflation. So the value is the same today as it is tomorrow, at least, right?
At least.
Okay,
yeah.
so here you are, then you're having a conversation with me, and you're saying, okay, so these are the things that we should invest in, right?
Yeah.
How do you come up with that decision? Like, what goes through your head when you make that decision of proposing the kind of funds that your portfolio should be invested in?
We have a form called a suitability assessment form.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's quite easy now. Everything it's listed out there, and from there there's a scoring. So depending on where your score lands, it will tell me what kind of risk taker you are. Low risk, medium risk, or high risk. So if it's a high risk, then of course higher risk funds got potentially higher returns lah. So does it mean everybody needs to take that? No, not necessarily. So it all depends on the
Client's potential appetite. Because I remember when we had the conversation, I was like, okay, you're like, so what are your financial goals? I was like, I want to make sure when I retire, I got enough money. When my kids go to university, which costs at that point in time $1 million per kid, I think.
Yeah, it's not funny.
I was like, I just want to make sure that I got a little bit of money, right? So that would put me under the category of, I'm assuming, low, medium risk?
Yeah, for most people, they will end up in the low, medium risk.
Okay.
But if they have enough time, they can always pick a slightly more aggressive fund.
Yes.
Because potentially they can give you higher returns over the long term.
Okay.
Yeah, because in the short term, if you take an aggressive fund, it may be volatile. Anything can happen, right? But if you have a longer time, the potential for it to give you better returns is much higher. So there is a strategy behind that. I have to explain and make sure they understand how the market works, how the fund works. Yeah.
So, in the years that you've been doing these investments, right? I mean, obviously there are ups and downs because, again, I mean, you've been managing my portfolio for the past 15 years.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a time when we were up 33%.
Yeah.
Today, I think we're up maybe low double digit, if I'm not mistaken, right? So I'm assuming these are the risks that's involved with investing in unit trust.
Yeah.
Any other risks that you see for a potential client or consumer who wants to invest in unit trust? And how can you as an agent help to mitigate those risks?
Okay. That's why one of the most important things is time. Because people will tell me, some funny customers will say, "Oh, I want the highest returns but the lowest risk." Of course.
Everyone wants that. Okay, please.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
Tell your friend, please.
Yeah. So when they tell me that, I'll tell them, ask them back. I say, if you have that product, let me know. I will buy.
Some people.
Yeah. So there's no such thing. So I have to explain why is there a low risk fund, why there is a medium fund and aggressive fund, and they all have its
rules
or purpose, and you must give it time. For any investment in the markets, you have to give it time. You don't time the market, but give the market time for your money to grow.
Yeah.
Because the market is that volatile, and nobody can predict. Even fund managers cannot predict. If they can predict,
they'll all be billionaires.
Yeah.
So that's the thing here, right? Is end of the day, it's about time.
Correct.
You're not in here to, like, for example, flip a property, right? The name of the game is give it time.
Correct.
Right? And like what you mentioned, diversify your portfolios in many different risk appetites as well as many different industries so that you're covered per se.
Yes.
Because I'll be honest, I mean, as a person who's been investing, like I remember we had that conversation. I still remember I have that screenshot, right? I'm up 34% ever since I invested, and that's not too bad. Unfortunately, things happened with one of the funds, and right now we're averaging double digits. Which again, if you're playing the long game, it's okay.
It's still okay.
And that's the best part when currently your funds are performing low. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's only one way for it to go. It's for it to grow again, I assume.
Yeah. I mean, okay, because like some customers ask me, what makes you so sure this fund will perform better in the future? Well, basically, there are only two main reasons. Okay, that is inflation and population growth. And then they'll be looking at me like, what's it got to do with the price of eggs? Everything you do. Because population growth, why? For every newborn in this world, you are a consumer. And then some people will think, but they're just a kid. It will be like 20 years time before they become serious consumers. I say no. You think about it. The moment they are born, within the first week, what do? Kid has to eat.
Diapers, whatever.
Vaccinated. And when they get vaccinated, who makes money? The pharmaceutical companies make money. The doctor makes money. The hospital makes money. So a lot of people are making money off the kid. Yeah. Basically, it makes the economy move. So for every new person in this world, you're a consumer. Okay? When you consume things, prices goes up. Okay? Second thing, inflation. Now, I always ask my customers, can you work in the same company for the same pay for years? No, right?
Of course not, bro.
No, right? Yeah. So, in order for your employer to give you higher salary, right? What must the company do?
Make more money.
Correct. And how do they do that? It's because if you're doing a business, you either do two main things. Either provide a service or sell a product. Or maybe both. Okay? Now, if I want to increase my employee salary, I have to either increase the sales or increase the price of my product or service. Then only I can give you higher income. Right? Because it doesn't make sense if I sell everything at the same price, maintain the sales target and increase your salary, I'll go broke.
Exactly. Unless you cut costs, which is another way.
Yeah. That's management. Okay. So by doing this, indirectly, you increase revenue for your company. and then you improve your stock price. Yeah. So over the long term, it will increase gradually. Yeah, but it cannot be too sudden lah. Because hyperinflation is also not good. It causes recession.
So what's hyperinflation? Sorry.
When inflation takes place too fast.
Okay. The rate of inflation increase is higher than what it normally should be lah.
Yeah, it's exactly like what we are going through in this current moment and last year.
Okay.
You know, because when the Russia and Ukraine war happened, there was shortage in logistics and supplies, food especially.
Wheat or something like that. That was an issue.
Yeah, because Ukraine, I think they export wheat, oats, corn, which is basic animal feed, livestock feed,
which just translates throughout the supply chain.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So when there are supply issues, inflation happens. Yeah. When it's too fast, and then of course it's not. Then we face all these problems, like suddenly why everything is going up. Yeah.
So that's the thing, right? I think very clear. I think today was a little bit enlightening for me. I learned a little bit more about your journey as a human being, as a person, doing insurance, but more importantly on investing, right? Like what you said, it's about making sure that your money is at least on par with insurance, rather than you put it in a bank, FD, or you just put it in your safe or whatever, right? Invest it in a way that it will grow at least on par with inflation, if not better. Like make your money work with you better, right? Diversify your portfolios. And the other thing I learned today is it's about time. Don't expect to put money in today, tomorrow 30% up, right?
Exactly.
It's about playing the long game.
Yeah.
So let's do just a few more questions, Aaron. Now let's just say, right, someone out there, young fella, just started working, right? And he wants to start investing. Right? What advice would you give a young person out there who wants to start investing, or another person who's in his mid-career who has never invested before and now wants to start investing? So what type of advice would you give these two characters?
Well, I'll pull out the suitability assessment form first.
Okay.
Because that will answer a lot of my questions. And then secondly, I would ask them what's the purpose and what's the time horizon that they have. Because the longer it is, the better. Because how investment works is, it's not just the yearly returns that you see. The power of the returns comes from the compounding effect of the funds.
Oh, yes.
Something which I've shared with you before. And that's how people like Warren Buffett got very rich. Okay, he's an extreme case. Because everybody knows he's a billionaire, right? But did you know that he was only a billionaire very recently, like 20 or 30 years ago?
Oh, okay.
All this time his money was accumulating, but because of the compounding effect, right, it took a very sharp climb. Because of the compounding effect. Interest earned over interest, and that's where the power of the returns come from. And it's a very boring thing. You need a lot of patience. Sometimes I tell my clients, investing, just get the base right, start off right, and then just monitor, year to year, because I say it's very boring.
So I agree with that, right? I think what you've taught me is the fact that number one is consistency, right? Consistently make your investments, whatever the time period is, monthly, quarterly, whatever it is. Be consistent, take time. Don't have to look at the fella every day, right? Unless you're playing stock market, that's a different game, right? But let it grow, take your time. So if you could compare unit trust with, let's say, other methods of investment, how would you rate unit trust versus, let's say, playing the stock market, dabbling in property and things like that? Okay.
Unit trust as an investment, right? To me, I find it very flexible.
Okay.
Very liquid. Okay. Let's say.
What do you mean when you say very liquid?
Because if, let's say, I own 100,000 worth of unit trust.
Okay.
And let's say 100,000 home property. Now, if let's say I'm in emergency, I want to liquidate. Within 7 days, I can get my money from unit trust. But with the property, I'll be lucky if I can get my money in 7 months.
Yes. Okay.
Right?
Got it.
Yeah.
More liquid?
More liquid. And then the initial investment is a lot lower. You can start off as little as 100 ringgit per month on a regular basis. Compared to if you want to buy property, minimum 10% down, and then the S&P, the lawyers' fees, and ding dong. It's a high investment. So it's very different lah. Both makes money, okay, but for somebody who wants to start off with a lower budget, unit trust is very flexible. Yeah, and then it's managed by professionals.
Yeah,
that is the best part,
yeah,
because
that's what sold me. Like, I don't have to look at things
Yeah.
every single day.
Yeah.
Someone else is managing my money, and that's what sold me to unit trust actually.
correct, because you can buy stock, from your broker, from the market, but you need to have understanding of how the market works. The value behind the company. This is proper investing. Because if you like, this stock is climbing, let's buy, jump into the bandwagon, and then get out when
Sounds like cryptocurrency to me.
Yeah, that is speculating.
Yeah.
That is not investing. It's very different.
Yes,
Investing
yes,
is analyzing the company's financials.
Potential for growth.
Yeah, the potential for growth, and then when it comes to the right price, and then you buy in, and then you hold. Yeah, that is investing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clear. I mean, for me as a person who has a few things that I'm investing in, I think unit trust is something that, again, maybe I'm not using the right words. It's a little bit low risk for me.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I think working with the right people, understanding your portfolio, and like what you mentioned, right? It's about making sure you have time, and it's about being consistent.
Yeah.
And that financial goals, like again for me, is easy retirement. My kids hopefully got enough money for me to
Yeah.
send them to some school lah. Ivy League, all hopefully they can get scholarship, but at least I can send them to a school lah.
Exactly.
Right. So I mean, Aaron, thank you so much. Like today, I've learned a little bit more about again, you in the insurance line as well as you in the investment line. So let's do some fun stuff. I normally have fun stuff lah.
Okay, let's
These
do
are
fun stuff.
this one is not related to all the insurance and investment. So let's say lah, right now, I take your phone
Okay.
and I take your Spotify, or any music provider that you use. What are the 3 top songs or 3 top bands that I will find on your phone right now?
Okay. I don't have a playlist.
Yeah, good like you.
Okay, but the genres that I like are basically rock.
Okay, so what are the 3 bands or songs that I will find most played in your Spotify?
I think you probably see Metallica. You probably see Alice Cooper.
Oh, nice, Alice Cooper.
Guns N' Roses. These very 80s bands.
Yeah, he's cool. That's why we can hang out.
Yeah.
Our playlist is very similar. So if it's Metallica, what song, what album do you normally lion? You remember that?
Not really. I remember one of the titles is Unforgiven.
Oh, so you like the Black Album lah, Unforgiven. But I like Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
Not many people listen to Alice Cooper. There's this song called I'm 18 by Alice Cooper. That's I play in a band, right? And one of the first cover songs I ever did when I was in high school was this song, I'm 18 by Alice Cooper. Right?
Super cool.
Right.
I mean, I just find rockers very intriguing. Like how do they sing like that the whole night and not lose their voices like Queen.
Of course.
I never appreciated Freddie Mercury that much until I saw that movie.
Oh, the Bohemian Rhapsody, that movie. Yeah.
My God, it just gave me goosebumps. This guy is talented beyond words, and I had to watch a movie about him to understand.
It's amazing. Like listening to him live. I mean, I've not watched him live, but listening to the live recordings, right? Sometimes, right, your hair stands on end. It's so amazing the power that what Freddie Mercury can do. Brian May and the rest of the guys is just awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the thing, right? So music is there. Now here's the thing lah. This Aaron fella, you look at him in the video, he look young. Actually, not so young lah. I just want to know, you look really good for your age, right?
Thank you.
What is your secret to looking youthful?
Okay, the secret sauce.
What's the sauce?
Moderation. Moderation in everything, whether it's exercise, eating, drinking, snacking. Everything in moderation.
So that's the secret. I mean, you work out. I know that for a fact. You do your workouts. You eat. You still enjoy your life.
Yeah, exactly.
But everything is done in moderation.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people take life too seriously, and then well, of course, certain circumstances will put you in that situation, but try to control or do things within your control.
Okay.
Yeah, do things within your control and not worry so much things that is not under your control.
Exactly, dude.
Yeah, because there are some people just worries about everything, and next thing you know, white hair will come out, and then
you get a heart attack.
BP and
exactly.
And yeah, based on my years with insurance and customers that has claims before and all that, and then I try to see, is there like a common denomination between these people, and yeah, they are stressed, man.
You know what's so funny? I just interviewed this heart attack survivor, and that's exactly what he said. Exactly what you said. If it is not within your control, don't stress about it.
Yeah.
Like if you're a Liverpool fan or a Man United fan, if they're losing 7-0, why you want to stress?
Exactly.
What impact is that going to do to the team? You think you stress they're going to score one more goal, I mean, take it on the chin. So I agree with that, right? If it's out of your control, don't stress about it.
Yeah.
So that's your secret lah, moderation. And if it's out of your control, don't stress about it.
Exactly.
All right. I mean, Aaron, thank you so much for spending some time today. And again, we learned quite a bit about the insurance side of the business, how it is actually a parachute. It's not just an umbrella. It's a parachute, and you got to make sure the parachute works. So always review, right? Yeah. We learned about the challenges, like we mentioned, and then we talked about investment. What is unit trust, and how you should invest your money a little bit. And making sure that your money, again, this is what's going to stick with me today. Making sure that your money grows at least on par with inflation, but ideally a lot more, more than that. All right, Aaron, thank you so much. If we got anyone out there who wants to connect with you, either for insurance or more importantly investment purposes, how can they contact you?
They can always contact through you. You've got my details, so yeah.
Got it. So guys, you know what? If you just need someone to talk to when it comes to investments, someone who will definitely build that relationship with you, will help advise you, I think Aaron's the guy. So I'll give Aaron his flowers. Right? Like I said, I don't look at my portfolios that often, right? But I've got Aaron who sends me random WhatsApp messages about the world of investment, who educates me as well. And thank you so much for making me a little bit more educated in the field of investments, and also ensuring that I am consistent and playing the long game. Yeah, so thank you, buddy.
Most welcome.
All right, and I'll link everything at the feed. If you guys want to know more, you can hit me up at my social media. And this has been another episode of Find the Real, where I believe everyone has a story. And I catch you in the next episode. Peace.